Right then, one more game for you on stage 2 this afternoon. We've seen some real tight ones with the Wizard Simon Whitlock overcoming Darius Labanowskis in the last leg decider. Gabriel Clemens holding off the two-time major winner Daniel Gurney to win 10-7, and then Chris Dobie, to be honest, blasting John Brown off the board. I do not see this one being as one-sided. I don't know who's going to emerge victorious because, quite frankly, from what we've seen in recent weeks and months, there's not a lot to separate these two in terms of the number of wins they've had, in terms of the standard of darts, in terms of just how convincing they've looked when we've seen them in action. Dirk van Duijvenbode is on an incredible run in TV tournaments and making the quarterfinals or better in everything, pretty much. And Jonny Clayton, not only is he the Masters champion, but he was the standout player at the Super Series. Won one of the 4 events, could have been 2, might have been 3. He has been incredible. So far this weekend, they have both played excellently, but only one of them will progress to the last 16. Dirk van Duijvenbode took care of Gary Anderson, so Jonny Clayton should hold no fear. Two very contrasting characters, it's fair to say. Jonny Clayton, a very laid-back darts player. Dirk van Duijvenbode, one of the more intense players that we've ever seen on a PDC stage. But the clash of styles could make for fascinating viewing over the next, what, half hour, 40 minutes or whatever.
I completely agree with you. Dirk van Duijvenbode, now a top 32 player. A little over a year removed from his Q-School success, and lots of success since then, of course. But what kind of period does he need to have, Dan, to get himself in the Dutch squad with a certain Mr. Van Gerwen? Can you imagine Dirk and Van Gerwen together?
Well, I mean, they are good mates, aren't they? I mean, they were hanging around together, those two and Vincent van der Voort, over the World Championship. As Clayton just piles in the first 180, you're going to see a lot of that over the course of this match. Here's one. Here's one. Oh.
140. Jonny, you require 81.
Almost.
Yeah.
I'll stick me neck out. He has an 11 darter. See, we were both wrong.
We were both wrong, but
Jonny Clayton
10 points
wrong
for trying. Yeah, the way that that Dutch darts is, you've obviously got the standout player in Michael van Gerwen, who's right up there at number 2 in the world rankings, although he could have been supplanted, couldn't he, this weekend? He could have been supplanted last week and it didn't quite happen. But then you're going all the way down to 22 in the world, where we've got Danny Noppert, 24 Jeffrey Desvan, 26 Vincent van der Voort, 27 Jermaine Watamina. They're all sort of clumped together. And then you've got Dirk van Duijvenbode at 30 in the world, but out of all of those guys, in fact, you could argue, if you were looking at who's in form of all the Dutch players, if you had a little arrow next to the name, are they going up, are they going down, are they staying where they are somewhere in between? The most up arrow in Dutch darts is probably that man right there, Dirk van Duijvenbode.
Not just because of form as well, because if you think about 2021 and how much he's got to defend in the rankings, he's got absolutely nothing to defend, which means that immediate pressure is put on the likes of Noppie, Van der Voort, and of course the other two. Big bounce out there for Dirk. Bit unfortunate. And Clayton needs 2 trebles here to put any pressure on that 84. You expect them from JC.
I also think, just in terms of popularity, the number of people that have just completely, particularly over the World Championship, where they might not have seen a great deal of Dirk van Duijvenbode before. Oh, didn't like that one, and neither did Dirk. You can see the reaction. The number of people who watch Dirk and go, this guy's great. I love watching this guy. Oh, I love watching this. I love watching this double 7. Oh, Ferret. Classy stuff from Jonny the Ferret. 2-0. Picking Dirk's pocket after he missed the big number.
Boy, is he playing well right now. He's making this game look so easy. And you've got 2 guys here who are in the top 3 of the averages of this season so far.
And nothing between them either. Very, very little. Jonny's won more games, obviously.
94.
The funny thing is, neither of them are top
No.
because of Joe Mernon.
Yes.
It's a bit of an anomaly, of course. Joe Mernon's played a few games this season, has averaged well, but has lost almost all of the games. But of the people in form, these two are the top of the tree.
I think whoever comes through this game has got to be right up there as one of the favourites for the title. I know MVG and Price, well, assuming MVG comes through against Suljevic, but Price has obviously come through against Ricky Evans. I know that they're going to be right up there. James Wade will no doubt be up there. But Clayton now has a major title to his name. You can't just say, well, he hasn't done it yet. And Dirk van Duijvenbode, while he doesn't have any title, he doesn't have a Pro Tour title to his name. That's the big question mark. Very much like we were saying about Chris Dobey. Until you do it, you're always going to have that question mark hanging over you.
Jonny Clayton is just doing everything right now. He's even getting the maths right, which is scary. 17 for the ball. Oh, fine try. Well, Clayton, who scored a few tries in his rugby career, he's looking for a try here of his own, and he's right in the middle. 3-0 Clayton in a flash.
3-0 to the Ferret, and a very convincing start from Jonny Clayton. And Dirk, that's his first 180. The Super Series, he was hitting them more regularly than anybody else. Jonny Clayton and Joe Cullen were hitting more than anybody else. They play more games. But in terms of the regularity, look at this. He's averaging in the 110s here, Jonny Clayton.
It's not an accident. The amount of games he had at the Super Series and the displays he had during the Masters, we expect him to have these statistics more often than not. I mean, we can talk about that James Wade game till the cows come home, but there have been performances since then that have been just as eye-catching.
140.
Dirk van Duijvenbode has had one dart at double. That was at the bullseye for a 127 finish.
124.
He is averaging 106, and that's all he's been allowed. Treble 18 would have given another dart at the bullseye, but he doesn't, and Clayton's already taken out an 81.
Didn't 3 last time. Can he do it in 2? Yes, is the call. 4-0 to JC. And I had a little conversation with Gary Anderson the other day when we were checking into the hotel and going through our COVID protocols. And I said, Gary, a few years ago you said that Jonny Clayton's got real potential, and I bring this up at least once every quarter. I'm bringing it up again because I said to Gary, you are making yourself look like a genius right now.
Wait, look, you know what? He said it. Van Gerwen has said it. There have been people pointing out the Ferret's potential for some time, but it was always the inconsistency. The fact is, right now, if this was a Pro Tour game, if this was a first to 6 game, Jonny Clayton, at the minute, is not a million miles away from breaking a world record, because he's averaging in the 110s. If he does something silly like Martin Schindler did at Q School and goes back-to-back 10 darters, and you can't rule it out the way he's playing. If he just gets a couple of 11 darters in and he's up at 120 average.
Only great dart players can do what Jonny is doing right now.
140.
You look at the likes of Peter Wright, Michael Van Gerwen, Michael Smith. You get the odd big performance from the likes of Kyle Anderson or Vincent van der Voort, where they can attain that huge statistic. And Martin Schindler's a great example of that. But Jonny Clayton, the amount of times he's put these big averages in now,
83.
we're starting to realise just how good he is.
Jonny Clayton averaging 109, 110. It's not a once-a-year thing. It happens. It happens not regularly, but it happens.
Jonny requires 78.
And it doesn't surprise you that much when it does. So clinical, so clinical. I'm not sure he can miss double 12. This is absolutely brutal.
Even when Dirk's hitting a 180 now, there's no reaction because he's thinking, I'm probably going to need another one.
Yeah, he might well do. You know, about sort of 7-8 minutes ago, I said, I don't envisage this being a one-sided affair. Yeah. I mean, I hadn't envisaged Jonny Clayton averaging 116 at this stage.
I remember a county game from quite a few years ago where a fellow countryman of Jonny Clayton broke the county average record. There's a guy called Peter Johns, fabulous Welsh player, and his average was just under 43 a dart. So it was around about 129. I think it was 42.94 off the top of my head. And of course they did it in one dart averages back then. So the Welsh proclivity for big averages is not just Jonny Clayton, it's others. Can Dirk get a double? Well, if this goes, Dirk might just put his darts down.
Well, they're the first darts at the outer ring that Dirk has had to try and win a leg. He will get more, though.
99.
Ferret just leaves himself on 62. And Dirk's in the game. Here we go. Stomps to the board.
What I like there is it's not one of those ironic hands in the air celebrations as if to say, oh, finally got a leg. It was one of, right, okay, let's kick on from here. And we've already seen one person today be 5-0 down and win.
Yeah, Peter Jakes against Max Hopp. And Max Hopp wasn't averaging what Jonny Clayton is averaging as he piles in a fifth 180. But look, Duijvenbode beat Gary Anderson over on the main stage. And although I didn't see the game, because obviously we were commentating on this, he was averaging around about the 106, 107 mark for big chunks of that game and was behind. So he would have been getting frustrated there. But what he did, he just kept on going and kept on working at it and turned it around. Now, I don't know. If Dirk keeps on playing at this level, is Ferret's level going to drop? I don't know. It might just stay where it is in the high 100 teens.
Well, we've seen him in the Masters sustain a ridiculous level of performance over the maximum of 19 legs that this game is being played at. 91% on doubles in 19 legs of darts. I can't emphasize that enough, how hard it is to maintain that. But Jonny Clayton is looking at 140 checkout. Well, that makes things a bit skew with. 79. Old school 13's route. But maybe he was just taking a break from doing the right thing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, at least we know that is still Jonny Clayton. It's not somebody else. Because he's made a silly mathematical choice.
I've seen a lot of people use the bullseye for 66 this weekend. Double 16, and he can hit that with his eyes closed.
You know, it doesn't matter. If you're making a choice which only gives you one dart at double instead of two, it doesn't matter if you only need one dart.
Well, what he does is he uses the option to, at the very worst, have one dart at double 16. Right now on the planet, there's nobody better than one dart at double 16 than Jonny Clayton.
I'm not sure there's many better at one dart in any target the way he's playing.
I think the only person who would possibly rival Jonny Clayton in that department is Joe Cullen, but we saw that one miss for a match start last night cost Joe Cullen against Michael Smith. But that game was very different to this one.
This is the fourth time they've met. Johnny's won a couple of them, including the big one, the quarterfinals of the European Championship back in October in Oberhausen.
96.
That, of course, was won by Peter Snakebite Wright. Dirk has beaten Jonny, beat him at the start of last year in a Pro Tour event, and that's when we really saw Dirk coming to the fore and playing the darts that we're seeing him play, or have seen him play for the last year. That's when we really started to notice how good a player he was turning into, and maximum leaves tops, and he's going to get darts to get a second leg, and look, he just stomps around the stage. He just owns the stage, Dirk van Duijvenbode.
You know he's there when you're playing him. I played him a couple of times. You know he's around you. Tops. In. Great game. And I know it's 6-2, and it's a dominant performance, but there's a mini Dirk there. Did you see that? The mini Dirk dance.
He's averaging around 109 himself, Dirk van Duijvenbode. Like, he's playing really well, but this is mind-boggling from Jonny Clayton. And he's playing to a level here, Dirk van Duijvenbode, where if Jonny Clayton just eases off slightly from his incredible display, by far the best individual display we've seen from anybody in this 160-player tournament so far this weekend. And if Jonny Clayton eases off that just a tiny little bit, Dirk van Duijvenbode might turn this around. That is how high quality this match is. Forget what MVG's done and Price has done or anybody else in this tournament. Clayton, the form man in World Darts, and Dirk van Duijvenbode right up there in terms of the standard of performance, if perhaps not winning quite as many games.
You get the feeling that maybe Jonny Clayton is due for a tiny lull in this game. He's thrown 9 darts in this leg and is down to 236. 1-2-4 for Dirk after 9, so he is the aggressor in this one.
60, Dirk, you require
And he's going to have 6 from here. Breathing space for maybe the first time in the match. Doesn't like that blocker for the 54.
92.
And he really likes that third dart. That was really well delivered.
This is the world number 18 versus the world number 30. And people have the temerity to suggest that the strength in depth in darts right now has not been improving. Look at what these two are doing. Double 12. Still double 12. And he cannot afford to make those mistakes because Jonny Clayton is going to punish him.
Well, we said that Jonny is lethal with 1 dart a double. How is he with 2?
38.
A little bit different, and we're starting to get a few more attritional legs. And it just adds to the drama.
First time we've seen this in this game. Can Dirk van Duijvenbode emerge victorious from it? He can, and he has somehow managed to break the Jonny Clayton throw. Yes, Clayton missed a couple of darts, but the Titan had missed 3 himself. And he has broken the ferret throw for the first time. And if he can hold his throw here, he'd go into the break only 6-4 down against a man who for the majority of this session was averaging close to 120.
I think if Clayton goes into the break 6-4 ahead, he'll be devastated.
60.
But it might keep him sharp. Might just give him a bit of a kick up the rear end. But it will definitely pep up Dirk van Duijvenbode. He will think he's definitely in the match.
You know what? There is no question. Everybody in darts knows how well Jonny Clayton's been playing. He's been the talk of darts for the last month or so. But Dirk, despite his heroics in big TV tournaments, despite his brilliance at the Worlds and the World Grand Prix and the Slam and the Players' Championship finals, all this sort of stuff, wasn't at the Masters, not high enough ranked.
59.
The Super Series played some great stuff in terms of standard, but he wasn't running into Jonny Clayton and he wasn't in the finals of any events. Joe Cullen was the other guy who was winning more games. I'm not sure whether Jonny the Ferret will be quite aware of how well Dirk has been playing the last couple of months.
He'll know.
Well, I think he probably will, but you never know.
Well, Jonny's got to be really astute here if he wants to get to a finish. 25 and a 60. Oh, he's getting the maths right. A plus, Jonny. A
You can
plus.
teach an old ferret new tricks, it would appear.
Well, this game deserves one of these. We saw one yesterday with Michael Smith. Possibly. Oh, I was just going to do the go, Jonny, go, but it's no, Jonny, no.
112.
1 treble required. Oh, yeah, I could see him moving over to the 18s, but didn't work out. And it might be 7-3 going into the break. There's the 25. There's the tops, and Jonny Clayton back to his clinical best. He was broken by Dirk van Duijvenbode. He broke straight back, and the Ferret is in charge of this one. A magnificent standard from these two, averaging way over 100, the pair of them. But it is Jonny Clayton's superior finishing that has kept him 4 legs clear and 3 away as one of the 4 men in darts looks to continue this stupendous winning streak. Right, well, are we going to get a grandstand finish to the action this afternoon here on stage 2? Two of the 4 men in world darts. They have not disappointed in the opening session, but Dirk van Duijvenbode couldn't take out 112 that would have cut the gap to just 2 legs. It now stands at 4, and he has a mountain to climb against a man who just keeps winning and winning and winning. The Masters champion, the Welsh number 2, Jonny the Ferret Clayton. Semi-finalist at the UK Open last year, remember? Can he go on and book his place in the last 16?
I don't know about you, Dan, but the UK Open from last year seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, it certainly does. Certainly does.
And in the last 12 months, I think we have to pay tribute to the Professional Darts Corporation and indeed Matchroom Sport for what they've done, not just for darts, but for all of the brands that they look after. They've done fabulously well in changing things around to give opportunities to all of these sports people. And they have been awarded something for the home tour, of course. They were given the Pandemic Innovation Award for the home tour.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was titled, but yeah. Jonny Clayton, of course, a man who made it all the way to the final in the home tour.
134.
Eventually won by Nathan Aspinall, of course. The Asp, no longer a contender in this tournament. The former champion beaten yesterday by Krzysztof Ratajski. Real top quality display from Krzysztof.
Yeah, Krzysztof came out of the blocks very similarly to what Clayton did in this game, and he's 96 away from 8-3. Good guide for a 60 as that, and he didn't use it, just undercooked that dart. But again, Dirk has asked the question on the ton plus out. Only 1 treble required. Can't get the inner ring
51.
To get the shot at the outer ring.
Jonny require 40.
Is it academic for Clayton to hit tops? I think it might be.
On 11 flag, Jonny Clayton.
He does not miss much, and if he does miss and you don't take advantage, you're not going to beat him. I mean, unfortunately for Dirk, as well as he's played, for him to be closer in this game and to be in with a real, you know, a good chance of winning this, which from this position you don't think he's got, but he would have had to be almost flawless. Every chance that would have come his way, he would have had to take him. There was an 84 checkout, he missed a big number. He would have had to have taken the 112. He would have had to have taken that 107. All of them would have had to go on, and even then, it would only be about level.
I'm starting to figure out what Jonny Clayton's doing with his grouping. All he's doing is throwing a really good first dart and then nestling the next 2 on the flight.
Well, this game gets a lot easier if your first dart's where you want it to be, doesn't it?
Well, his first dart average a little earlier in the match was over 40, which tells you a very, very easy story. He's hitting that treble 20 more times than missing it with the first dart, but it's around 38.8 at the minute, and that is just tantalizingly good. So is this leg, double 16, and he's in again. The break came at the right time, and he was a little bit fortunate to get that 10th leg, you have to say, but he has sprung from the break like a ferret and is shooting towards the finishing line.
No, well, he's just been absolutely magnificent, Jonny Clayton.
100.
It is the best individual display we have seen from anybody so far this weekend. And if you weren't considering Jonny Clayton as a potential UK Open champion this weekend, and not even a potential one of the most likely, after winning the Masters, after being unreal on the Pro Tour, and after laying down this marker against another in-form player, that is 8 180s for Jonny Clayton in only 13 legs of darts. If you weren't considering him as a very likely winner of this title, then I think you should probably re-evaluate that.
It is kind of comical that he's not in the top 16. Can you think about that for a second?
That could change very, very quick. That could change by tomorrow night at this rate. In fact, if Jonny Clayton were to pick up £100,000 for winning this, he'd be in the top 10, more than likely.
57, Jonny require 81.
He knows a thing or two about an 81. This one is for 3 of them in the match. Job done. Wow, Jonny Clayton, just wow. Look at Dirk's reaction. Oh, we can't do that. We're not supposed to do that. But everybody can be impressed with that display. I am, and I know you are, Dan.
Absolutely spectacular. Dirk van Duijvenbode has averaged a ton there, and he's barely been able to lay a glove on the ferret, because Jonny Clayton has underlined his credentials. He's the Masters champion. He's in the Premier League for the first time this year, and he might well be the UK Open champion come tomorrow night, because right now, I'm not sure there's anybody in the world playing better darts than that little ferrety man.